guys, how's it going? I'm back with another 10 metal bands you haven't heard but should. It's been a couple weeks since the last videos, and that's because I've been in Paris exploring. Saw the catacombs, that was awesome. You can check out some photos on my Instagram. Some really good places in Paris as well to buy records. Music Fear Satan was one really good shop. Hellfest Corner, that was an interesting place. It was like a bar, but they had some killer records, so that was definitely worthwhile. Anyway, I'll get into it. First up, some classic heavy metal with Eternal Champion. There's some kind of speed influence. It's really, you know, over the top, really good heavy metal. I've been listening to a lot of this, I guess, new wave of traditional heavy metal, I think people are calling it. As far as I think of it, as just heavy metal. Pure and simple. This came out on No Remorse Records, 2016. It's a really good album. If you like really over the top, you know, Iron Maiden-y kind of stuff, then definitely check this out. There's some killer anthemic tracks on there, which brings me nicely into the next album by Screamer. This is, again, some very nice classic heavy metal, really catchy, some great riffs, really catchy, really unique vocals as well on this one. Like the song Out of the Dark, that's a good example. I listen to that quite a lot, and Rider of Death, they're definitely a couple standout tracks, but the whole album's just really killer. It's on the Sign Records. I always forget because it's just this here, but it does actually say at the top. Still haven't made my mind up if I love or hate the artwork. It definitely works well. The logo's killer. The way the logo ties into the frame's pretty cool. But yeah, the album's just great. Definitely check this one out. Next up, to get into the more extreme side of things, is the new EP from Bölzer, from Switzerland, of course. It's absolutely killer. It's called Lace Majesty, and I've forgotten the name of the label. Lightning and Sons, that was it. Really cool, really Bölzer-y. My main criticism is the guitars are kind of low in the mix, which is a bit of a sucker because the riffs are absolutely fucking insane. But maybe that's just an excuse to play it louder to pick everything out. The vocals, as you may know if you're familiar with Bölzer, are sort of quite strange but also very haunting. It is a really unique type of vocal, which is one of the main things that attracts me to this band. It's really good. Black and Death. If you haven't heard them, definitely check these guys out. I think they're probably one of the better bands doing the Black and Death thing that isn't on the like war metal side of things. I really like this new EP as well. It's great. Next up, some good old Swedish style death metal. The newest, I think it's the newest Cryptivore album on Vaginal Autopsy Records and Dawning Septic. I got a bunch of stuff from Dawning Septic, which you'll see some of in this and I believe the next episode. But Cryptivore for me is just really good, stompy death metal. I like it. There's not a lot I can say that doesn't just apply to a lot of these bands, but if you like that kind of thing, definitely check out Cryptivore. They do it really well. Next up, the only vinyl of this video. I bought quite a lot of vinyl in Paris, but they were bands such as Miss the Ming, Sentient Horror that I've already had on these episodes, so if you want to go look at the LPs, just check out my Instagram. But these guys, I haven't had anything of, and I've been searching for a while to get a good deal. That is the Great Old Ones. This is their second album to Kelly Lee on, I really don't want to try and say this in French, but Les Acteurs de l'Ombre Productions, I guess. Well, it's a French label anyway, I believe. It's really good, weird black metal. They often get labelled post-black metal, which sort of, I don't really think is the case. I think they're definitely experimental in the vein of like Deathspell Omega and stuff like that, but it doesn't have that kind of like soft indie feel. It's really harsh, dissonant riffs, really blasty drums, really eerie, gets under your skin, and it's Lovecraftian, so of course I love it. I was a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft's literature. I am somewhat educated, as much as Maggot Stomp Records may not let you believe. But yeah, definitely check out the Great Old Ones if you like some weirder black metal and H.P. Lovecraft. Next up is a band that is by no means new, but a band that I worryingly don't see many people talk about. They're a UK band. I recently saw them open for Blasphemy and Volcano, which just spoilt it for everyone who went to that gig. Doria, this is author of Incest on Agonia Records. It's sort of like, I guess, war metal. You've got Black and Death, some thrash in there. Definitely more in the South American vein of the style. Killer artwork, and holy shit, they were actually almost terrifying to watch live due to the sheer aggression and passion that Melissa, the vocalist, delivers. She's really awesome as well. We got to speak to her at Black Witchery, which was the next weekend. She came down for that, and it's really cool. All the guys from the band, of course, are really cool. I'm terrible at names. I only remember because I spoke to Melissa for a while, but Adorior, just fucking great. Pure aggression, hateful, Black and Death, old school stuff, and it's really cool to see that they're back and active at the minute, because I was definitely, for one, incredibly glad to see them, and based on the early queues outside the Dome, I think I'm not the only one. So if you're not familiar with Adoria, but you enjoy those kinds of bands, especially from the 90s in South America, get on checking Adoria out, because they're fucking insane. Next up, some more stompy Swedish style death is the new Nightbearer album. If you're a fan of Bloodbath, I can tell you now you'll love it. It's on Testimony Records. I was reviewing this for my webzine, which will be linked in the description thingy, and I literally got about 1.5, 2 songs in, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna message Dennis and order this one. Really good stuff. This and Sentient Horror really ended the year well for them, along with the new Horrified one, which I haven't picked up yet, but I have some of their other stuff. That's really cool, more progressive death. Earlier in the year, we had like Organic and Kunum, I guess you'd say it. So Testimony are definitely killing it, and Nightbearer, I think, along with Sentient Horror, was the top releases for that label this year, or last year, I guess. Really good riffs, insanely good leads, some melodic stuff, some crunchy stomps, some D beats. It has it all, and a fucking epic cover. So definitely check out Nightbearer. Next up, the only tape of the release video. I'm still not back adjusted to working brain. From Ruin. I don't think it's their latest release. They release actually quite a lot, but it's their full-length Drown in Blood on, excuse me, Neurodyne Records maybe, and I have no idea what that says, so I'm incredibly sorry to the labels, but check out Ruin and find the labels from it or something, because it's a killer release. If you like stuff like Undergang and Dismo, just that swampy, cavernous, eerie death metal that's got some killer hooks, really groovy, kind of doomy in parts, but definitely not lacking in aggression. Definitely check out Ruin. This was a bit of a blind buy. I knew the logo and I was just like, oh, that looks cool, I'll pick it up. It's like €5. And I'm really glad I did. Ruin are fucking awesome. So yeah, check these guys out. Next up, we have a release from Dark Horizon. Again, they send me some stuff, and again, they will be appearing in a couple videos, because I don't want to do all just one label in a video. This is Carcosa with their debut EP, Harvest of the Adept. Really nice kind of blacky, deathy, thrashy, just extreme, aggressive, and really good material. It's 5 tracks, 300 copies, as it says here on the back. And, you know, if you like your blackened, deathy thrash, maybe a bit like Destroyer 666, stuff like that, definitely check these guys out. The artwork is really cool. Logo is completely unreadable, but still really cool. But yeah, definitely enjoyed this one. It was one of the ones that I actually checked out later from the stuff they sent me, and it was probably my favourite. And another one from Dark Horizon, but also from Negative Earth Records, I believe that says, is Fornicus. Really cool, Black and Death. Starts off more maybe on the, like, you think it's going to be quite war metal, quite bestial sounding, and then it kind of progresses. The instrumentation is really good. The songwriting's really good. It's fairly long, quite a lot of tracks on there, but it doesn't really get dull or repetitive, as the band has a very interesting set of ideas that they put together really well. Really good album. It's called Hymns of Dominion. It's their latest full length, I believe. And I think it rounds out this list nicely. with a lot of these kind of Black Death thrash bands appearing throughout. I have most of the stuff ready for the next video, so stay tuned for that. It'll probably appear in the next 2 weeks, I hope. Just depends on when stuff arrives, because I like to sit here and show a CD, a tape, an LP, a single or something. I don't want to just talk at you guys without there being something more interesting in my face and maybe some nice posters in the background to look at. Thank you for watching. I apologise for the slight delay. This video was meant to actually go up before I went to Paris, but, you know, things didn't happen that way because I had to pack and stuff. And then when I got back, I've had like records to sort out and listen to, and, you know, listening to records is always going to be my priority in life, along with making them. The other thing I want to add as a quick note, as a sort of self-plug, if you will, the Sickly Anglen tapes for This Hollow Land, I have one of those left, but Slime Citadel has a bunch. I can actually show one here. So it has this purplish blue tape, a redesigned J card with a spooky photo of me when we played in London. These came out really nicely. The Clobber ones sold out in like a day or two, so if you want one, don't sleep on it. And also the vinyl version for This Hollow Land is now with Legions of Darkness Records. I'll be getting some copies tomorrow, I believe, or the next day. I've got to work on signing and numbering cards, because that's what you do. If you do a limited edition release, there's 100 copies. We've sold probably a bunch of them. I haven't looked at the stock sheet today, but if you want one, order it. It really helps me out. And although I did a 7-inch a few years ago, having LPs on this really nice format, and they came out great quality, as you can see on my Instagram, is really special to me, something that's been a dream of mine for years. So you can order those on the AHPN Bandcamp or by messaging Legions of Darkness or myself. And finally, the CDs will be reissued next month with Clobber Records, who did them before, I believe. I need to talk to those guys, but they're busy, but they should be around next month, I believe. So thanks for listening to that. If you pick it up, oh, and it's digitally available for like less than €1 because it is, and it's on Spotify and stuff. But more interestingly, the CD, tape and LP, if you pick something up, I really appreciate it. It helps me out. If you want to know where I'm spending the money, it's just on other bands' records. So you're not only supporting me. And before I start wittering on about myself too much, thank you for watching, and stay metal.